Investigators are trying to figure out if anyone will face charges for a shooting that killed a protester over the weekend.
As the crowd surrounds his vehicle and as some of the protesters are striking his vehicle, his account is that Mr. Foster pointed the weapon directly at him and he fired his handgun at Mr. Foster.
What's up, guys? Ryan here with Tampa Carry. I want to know what you would do if all of a sudden you're driving your car, you turn down a street, and you find yourself right in the middle of a massive, massive protest. You know, you guys have all seen the videos, right? Where somebody turns into a protest, maybe it was an accident, maybe it was on purpose, and they just kind of floor it and plow through the crowd. On July 25th, Garrett Foster, he decided to attend a protest in Austin, Texas. Now, Garrett decided to bring his AK-47 and he wanted to open carry it right on his chest, which he's legally allowed to do in Texas. All of a sudden, a man, he's driving his car, he turns down a street, and he's confronted by a bunch of protesters that are just there. Now, this guy, you know, he kind of had a choice, right? He could have easily slammed on his brakes. He could have put it into reverse and gotten the hell out of there. Except what he decided to do was to pull up to the protesters and honk, thinking that they're gonna get out of the way. Have you not been watching the news, buddy? The protesters do not move.
Tell us a little bit about your gun again.
It's AK-47.
What you got it out tonight?
They don't let us march in the streets anymore, so gotta practice some of our rights.
Cool, man. Do you feel like you'll need to use it?
Nah, I think if I use it against the cops, I'm dead. And I think all the people that hate us and, you know, want to say shit to us are too big of pussies to stop and actually do anything about it. So,
why'd you start carrying?
Well, our roommate got arrested and they stopped letting us march anywhere, so started carrying.
Okay, so this car pulls up and honks his horn and protesters surround the car. This is where Garrett comes into the picture. Now, we don't have all the details. We don't know exactly what happened, but apparently Garrett approached the vehicle. We don't know if his gun was on a sling, kind of like this, or maybe the rifle was actually in his hands. But he came up. There's some witnesses that said that he was kind of pointing the rifle at the driver, and that's when the driver decided to pull his concealed carry gun and engage Garrett, firing several shots. This is open carry. Open carry is when the gun is on your body, but it is not in your hand. If you are walking up to me with that rifle in your hand, I'm probably gonna shoot you. So, driver fired a couple shots, and then all of a sudden, another person, a concealed carry permit holder in the protest, pulled out his gun and opened fire onto the car. Now, there are some reports that it was Garrett, it was his AK that fired the shots. You know, it doesn't sound like AK-47 shots in this video.
Everybody back up! Someone got shot! Someone got shot.
So let's ask ourselves the big questions. So how can this situation be avoided? I think number one, our primary goal is always to identify these dangerous situations and get as far away as possible. I think that driver, as soon as they turned down that road and saw all the protesters, that should have been the moment that they put it in reverse and just got the hell out of there. But that's not what the driver wanted to do. He wanted to pull up, and I think he kind of put himself into that dangerous environment. Question number two, what level of force can be used? As I mentioned before, this situation happened in Austin, Texas, and the Texas laws are always going to be different than Florida. I'm not an expert in Texas law, but I do know Florida law like the back of my hand. So before using a firearm in the state of Florida, we have to take a look at Florida Statute 776.012, subsection 2. It says, a person is justified in using or threatening to use deadly force if he or she reasonably believes that using or threatening such force is necessary to prevent imminent death, great bodily harm, or to stop the imminent commission of a forcible felony. In my personal opinion, if you start pointing an AK-47 at me unlawfully, I would have a reasonable fear of imminent death and I would shoot you. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. You know, somebody was in my class earlier. They said, I asked, you know, what do you guys think about this? And he said, yeah, it was unfortunate. Yeah, I think it is unfortunate that this guy, Garrett, died. But if it's true, again, we don't know all the details yet. If it's true that he pointed this gun at that driver, what do you expect? If you point an AK at somebody, you should expect nothing else than for that individual to defend themselves from that unlawful attack. Let me know what you guys think down below. Leave a comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and stay safe.